He's had a few issues and it really is better than that third, and he thinks he's got the pace to win it.
OK, we shall see. Let's get out to our commentators then. James Hayden has made his way from the grid up to the commentary box alongside Jack.
So the man in third position on the grid, Bradley Ray's won 3 of the last 4 races and is on the Fab Racing Yamaha. And the Cool Fab Racing have a very simple mission, which is to encourage more young people to get involved in motorcycle racing. They support and nurture talented young riders who they hope will become the British Superbike champions of the future, or even better. Brad Ray very much one of them. It may sound ambitious, the guys say, but having already seen the likes of Danny Kent, who's now world Moto3 champion, and Scott Redding in MotoGP, progress through the Cool Fab Racing Championship and go on to become world-class riders, they're committed to working at the grassroots of the sport. So Bradley Ray, very much their superstar up-and-comer at the moment. He currently sits in third place in the championship, just 45 points now behind James Westmoreland, who is just 3 points ahead of Taron Mackenzie. Andy Reid is, of course, absent with that broken wrist. We wish him all the best for a speedy recovery. Mason Law is now just 3 points behind him in 5th place in the championship, ahead of a very, very determined and lugubrious David Allingham, who has just spoken to James Hayden on the grid, with Luke Jones in 7th, Ben Curry 8th, Joe Francis 9th, Andy Irwin in 10th. 11th for Luke Hedger, who swapped places with teams rather with well, yes, kind of swap places with Andrew Irwin. Ross Twyman is 12th, ahead of Joe Collier, Jamie Perrin, and the triumph of Bjorn Estmund. The starting grid features on pole position James Westmoreland, 2nd place Bradley Ray, 3rd place Joe Francis. Taron Mackenzie brings up the 2nd row ahead of David Allingham and Mason Law. Australian Ben Curry is on the 3rd row on the Pace Days Yamaha, ahead of Freddie Pett. Good to see Freddie back up at the pointed end, former Triumph triple champion. Alongside him, another Triumph, Luke Jones. And then on the 4th row, Andrew Irwin, Joe Collier and Luke Hedger. So ready to go. This is the sprint race. This is 10 laps only for Donington Park. Who's going to win it? And a terrific start by James Westmoreland. Westmoreland gets a terrific jump on the Kamei BPT Yamaha. And Bradley Ray, not such a good start. Good, it's Allingham. Allingham carves through at Redgate. And the big Ulsterman is there at the front. What a start for the EHA Racing Yamaha. He leads the way.
Yeah, it's a great start. He just let the brakes off. Looked like Westmoreland had that, but Allingham came through, and Francis is just doing the same thing at the old hairpin. So Allingham Westmoreland getting a little bit beaten up their first lap, and you could see there Bradley Ray, and it looked like Irwin as well, tussling through the Swanses.
As they go in, here is Joe Francis looking super confident, just cuts through inside Allingham. So the lad from Cheshire leads the way then now on the Kamei BPT bike from 3rd on the grid. Allingham sandwiched between the two black Yamahas. It's a Yamaha 123 with a distinctive green and yellow machine of number 40. Little Taron Mackenzie tucked in 4th place. Bradley Ray next up. And Allingham looking ruthless on the brakes. Goes for a really early apex into Foggies. Messes things up a bit. Squiffs across in front of Francis and hands the lead back to him.
Yeah, and in the background as well, Ray and Taron Mackenzie swap places. And Mackenzie is in quite... Oh, dear, Mackenzie!
Everybody... Brad Ray having to take massive avoiding action because he was about to be assaulted by... And Ray gets on the grass, has a horrible exit to the hairpin, and that was... He was about to be assaulted by 2 runaway machines at that point, and he just had to pull out.
Well, that really did look very, very tight indeed, but Taron Mackenzie did a brilliant job. It looked like he was almost certainly going to clip someone, but he got it pulled up tight, and yes, he pushed the pack wide. As you watch once again, Bradley Ray was the big loser there. He comes through on Irwin. Watch up the inside, watch number 40, he's completely sideways, and it looked at this point like he'll just clip, but Allingham spots him. They all go wide. Irwin, he nips through the inside, and it was Ray that was a big loser. He was actually on the grass on the exit.
So Joe Francis leads, 2nd place for the man who's 2nd in the championship. That's Taron Mackenzie, and little Taron now has the experienced Westmoreland behind him, which is where he needs to be if he's going to make inroads into that championship lead. Only 3 points separate them, so if we were to cross the line right now in those positions, Taron would have a 1-point lead in the championship over Westmoreland. So the Geerling Kawasaki's right behind there. Number 20, Mason Law, as we watch number 40, Taron McKenzie. Oh, McKenzie gets it wrong again, and Westmoreland has to sit up and just watch the consequences then and stay out of the way. Taron McKenzie, I've never seen him riding like this. He's going completely nuts on the Stouff Connect Academy WD-40 bike. And these lads, look, Bradley Ray in the middle there, manages to find a little bit of space, and he moves through into third place, almost splitting the two orange and green Geerling Kawasaki's. Well, I've never seen such fisticuffs as this on the opening laps, James, even in British Supersport.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's obviously always tight, but...
and that's someone that... Was that Westmoreland got forced completely out by... it was Andy Irwin who kind of elbowed him onto the grass there as they came out of Goddard's. So a really messy couple of laps, and Westmoreland has suffered. He's dropped right back to 9th.
Now watch this. Watch number 40. Watch Taron McKenzie. He just misses. I mean, he does really well. He comes off the brakes and just squeezes it through, but it is such hairy... was a really, really dicey bit of riding there, and he does fantastic to not involve anything, but right on the edge. And then watch it at the back. You see Irwin, he has a bit of a wobble. He just sticks Westmoreland straight off onto the grass. Bradley Ray is up front, so in those last little couple of corners, Bradley Ray has come through. He set the fastest lap of the race, 1:32.4, and in he comes right now, and that is...
Ben Curry's
that's
down.
Ben Curry.
And it looks like he's not. It's not. Oh, is it?
So that does look like Curry down. But Bradley Ray set a new lap record on that last lap. And guess whose lap record it was? Cal Crutchlow.
And James, what's phenomenal is he did it in traffic. He was carving his way through traffic.
And that is...
Is that West?
No, sorry. Sorry, just obviously he hadn't dropped off the back. That was Ben Curry, so he's up and okay. So unfortunately.
So as they drop into Goddard's, the left-hander, there's Cool Fab Racing Yamaha's number 28, Bradley Ray, the teenager from Lydd down in Kent, leads the way. Second place for number 40, Taron McKenzie. Third place, number 4, Joe Francis. Fourth place about to change as David Allingham just cuts his way tidily underneath the reigning Superstock 600 champion Mason Law. And then we've got another Irishman. That's Andrew Irwin in 6th place. 7th for Luke Jones, who's been the Herefordshire lad keeping out of trouble as far as he possibly can, as Mason Law cuts back underneath Allingham but goes way, way wide. Can he cut it back in time? Yes, he can. Remember, Andy Irwin in 6th place is riding with a couple of cracked ribs, a legacy from a couple of rounds ago. And behind him he's got Jones, Westmoreland in 8th, Collier 9th, Hedger in 10th. Yeah, it really did cost Westmoreland, and at the moment this is ideal for McKenzie. McKenzie in 2nd. You know, at the end of the day, he'll take back that championship lead. As you say, there was just 4 points separating him and Westmoreland, so at the moment he's going to take back some of those points. As you can see, that would be the new championship. But I'm just hearing as well the lap record in the programme, which I read it from, is wrong. Apparently, I do apologise, it's not a lap record, because actually the lap record they've got in the programme isn't the lap record. And when you see a rider just back in so confidently, steeply downhill into the left-hander at the Melbourne Loop, as Bradley Ray is doing, what an exciting visual that is. Behind him, Taron McKenzie. We're on the 4th lap of 10. Oh, and down goes Joe Francis. Francis has slid out, over and out goes the number 4 Kame BPT Yamaha, and that's Joe Francis out of the running on a race he thought he could win, and he clasps his head in dismay. This is what happened. Yeah, watch number 4, just in your picture now. It's just going to be on the bump there. Watch his front, slides out. You see that so often, and the bike does a full flip, lands back on its wheels and rolls a bit. Watch his bike here as it comes out. Watch it digs. Oh, it doesn't quite get it, but he's perfectly okay. But again, just that's a big shame for those guys. The Kame BPT team, 2 bikes on the front row, one of them leading the championship, and it's ended up that one of them's crashed, one of them being pushed on the grass. So it's not been a great day. But back at the front, Bradley Ray, who has just been so strong these last few races. Taron McKenzie's not given up though, but Bradley Ray really is the man in form at the moment. He's just moved up through the championship. He's in 3rd, and it's he just has done so well in these last few races. And you know, it's team owner Keith Flint's birthday today. Therefore, the frontman with the Prodigy. Keith, we'd like to wish you a very, very happy birthday, but we hope that the day after your birthday turns out a little bit better in terms of your team's results. Mind you, this race isn't over yet. Westmoreland's still very much in it. He's lying now in 6th place, courtesy of that mistake by his teammate. And Tyrone McKenzie there, number 40, just keeping a whisker of pressure on number 28, Brad Ray. Brad Ray racing in the Dickies British Supersport Championship, a prodigy of the Cool Fab Racing Championship. So too, incidentally, is Luke Mossey, who's very much running at the front of British Superbikes, of course. As they go storming through into Redgate onto the 6th lap. We're at half race distance, and after the terrifying fisticuffs of the opening couple of laps, at least a bit of air has opened up in between some of these guys. Allingham's fighting with Law for 3rd place. Irwin is probably losing ground to the fastest man on track at the moment, Westmoreland. 132.0 lap for James Westmoreland on that lap, and he has closed the gap drastically on the Ulsterman.
Yeah, you also, I tell you what, Mason Law's doing another good ride here. He's in 3rd, just ahead of Allingham, so that's good. As we look back a little bit further now,
this is
Jamie Perrin.
Sam Coventry and Jamie Perrin. Jamie Perrin's just cut through past Coventry into 10th place, so a top 10 for the Kettering man. And just behind him there is number 66, who you spoke to on the grid, the likeable 6'6" Freddie Pett. There he is, a former winner of the Triumph Triple Challenge. Freddie always loves his triumphs, and he's certainly getting this one motoring. He said that the actual flat-out speed isn't so noticeable on this track. He can use the corner speed. Here's Westmoreland trying to use a bit of corner speed as he gets the better of Andy Irwin on the brakes. Drops tidily down into hairpin, but gets a bit too deep. And with Irwin, you know that he'll have a stab back straight away. Westmoreland glances anxiously over his shoulder to see that he's clear.
Yeah, well, that moves Westmoreland up into 5th now, and all the time he's got to think, this is your championship leader you're looking at, number 3. But at the moment, he's just going to lose that championship. It's so tight between these two. 4 points between him and Tyrone McKenzie.
He's gone faster again, 131.686 against a 131.896 with Bradley Ray. So Bradley Ray's leading the way. James Westmoreland won't endanger that lead, but he could yet do something about David Allingham, who's there. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 riders. That's Allingham in blue and white. Here comes the black Yamaha of James Westmoreland. Westmoreland, the man on the pace, the elder statesman, really, if you'll excuse the expression, amongst these riders, running at the front, and he's cutting into the advantage of David Allingham.
Yeah, Westmoreland really on the move. The quickest guy, really, he's absolutely motoring. 3 laps left. Could he quite get Allingham on Law? Could he get the last podium spot?
I think Allingham surely must be endangered. If ever you could imagine someone as quiet as James Westmoreland having a little touch of red mist, this could be it, I think, as he comes storming downhill towards... He's got 3 laps after this one, so he's got time on his side yet.
Well, at the moment, he was 0.9 of a second quicker. He's 2.8 seconds behind, so you would catch him on the last lap, but still have a 10th to go. However, the closer you get, the more that you seem to pull riders in, so it could happen, but I think it will come down to the last lap, and then unless there's a mistake. What's happening at the front? Well, Ray is just eased away from McKenzie. You can see McKenzie there. He's got a 1.2 second lead, but it looks like to me like Mason Law is just starting to actually eat into McKenzie's lead. And then you can see how tight it is back there. And there's Luke Jones on the background there, just number 82 on the white Triumph.
So James Westmoreland now is 1.2 seconds behind David Allingham. There goes Luke Hedger, number 2, and another former National Superstock 600 champ, chased by Sam Coventry. So Coventry having a good ride, number 90. Sam Coventry from Portsmouth on the road and Racing Performance Kawasaki.
Yeah, what a dice that lot are having. You've got Hedger, Coventry, Collier, Perrin, Pett, Wilford, all together dicing in that area there, going all the way, sort of right the way down from 8th to sort of 14th.
And that's it. Tommy Philp in 14th place, and then Ryan Dixon at the moment has the last point in 15th place. And he's ahead of number 23, would you believe, Silicon Engineering Kawasaki's Dean Harrison, the Bradford lad who's fabled for his exploits on the road. Mason Law, you're so right, is closing the gap, James. Here he comes, dancing downhill, number 20 there on the Geerling Kawasaki, right behind the similar machine of Tyrone McKenzie. And Mason's really started to find some form. He's gone second, first, second in the last 4 races. He's almost mirrored he's the guy who's, he runs a bit deep and just about holds onto it going into the hairpin at Melbourne Loop.
Yeah, but you can see he can smell blood, and You know, Taron doing a great job though there. Taron saying that they just played around a bit with the bike the last few races. They made the bike a bit long, and here they've shortened it. They've dropped the handlebars too, put a bit more weight on the front, and he just feels much more confident. He's got it turning how he likes, and certainly this is a return to the sort of form that we really expected him after such a great year he's having.
James Westmoreland there, the second of those two bikes, took 7/10 of a second out of David Allingham on that lap. So he is beginning to pull the advantage of the EHA Racing Yamaha back as they drop downhill then. Oh, closing up here. This is getting fascinating. Allingham, who's currently in 6th place in the championship on 164 points. Westmoreland, of course, leading the championship on 254 and trying to limit the damage because Taron McKenzie there, the leader of those two, running in 2nd place at the moment, will take over the championship lead.
He will indeed, but the man out in front, Bradley Ray, what a sort of some form. He'd never won a race before. He's won 3 out of the last 4, a second in that other one, and he's looking good again today. He's just clicked with the clicked with this bike, you know, clicked with this glass, and he really is in such fine form. But he's still got a long way. Remember though, he's 45 points off Westmoreland in the championship, and you know he's going to be about 40 points off in the championship for McKenzie now by the end of this race.
And as they drop down into the Melbourne Loop, there's the battle for 2nd place, here's the battle for 3rd place, and James Westmoreland lost it a little bit, then he just overcooked it down into the hairpin. That gave it Allingham just a moment's breathing space, but look, Westmoreland's back on him again on the brakes.
Yeah, he loses a little bit, he was just in a bit hot, but you can see he knows he needs this, he knows he's fighting for this championship, and I think he'll probably try and he's got to try and move on this last lap. It's going to take probably the rest of the lap to get back to him, but Westmoreland probably a little bit quicker down Craners and part of the lap. Here is your leader, though, Bradley Ray, number 28 on the Fab Racing. He is away with it. He's got 2.8 seconds lead. McKenzie's done well. He's responded to Law's pressure, but then that's the battle between Allingham in 4th, number 95, and James Westmoreland in 5th, who is going to lose the championship lead if it stays like this.
Bradley Ray, fastest man on track, 132.2. He was a couple of tenths quicker than anybody else on that lap. Mason Law, as you said, there was a terrific response there from Taron McKenzie, little Taz number 40. Those two 20-year-olds locked together. And then Allingham here with the relatively inexperienced Irishman with a big job to do to hold off the 28-year-old James Westmoreland. Westmoreland, former runner-up in this championship, is still leading it at this moment in time.
Now this is where, watch Westmoreland coming out of here. This is where he's quick. And no, Allingham has done brilliant there. He's got to cover his line, which he does. Is anyone going to overshoot? See Allingham's bike just dancing a bit on the brakes there, keeping it wide, but he's hit his point, and he's only got one more turn to do it on now.
And he forced Westmoreland to the outside there. That was precisely what he needed to do, a wily move by Allingham. It looks as if these play... Oh, no, Westmoreland got round the outside. Westmoreland gets round the outside of Allingham into the last turn. Just hold it on the drive to the line. Bradley Ray wins. Bradley Ray even wins. 2nd place, McKenzie. 3rd, Law. Westmoreland with that wondrous move into the last turn. Gets round the outside of David Allingham. No one expected that. Least of all us. Least of all wow. David Allingham.
That was a great move as you come back to Luke Hedger, who just crossed the line.
Hedger edges out Joe Collier and Sam Coventry, and then it's Freddie Pett gets the better of Jamie Perrin to snatch 11th place. Wilford 13th out of Philp. Dean Harrison gets the final point, but that was a great move by James Westmoreland, a great ride by number 28 Bradley Ray. Number 4, well, those 3 lads all who finished on the rostrum have ridden really strongly. Watch this, James. How did he do
now,
this?
Watch it, number 3 in the back left-hand side of your picture, number 95. David Allingham's quite tight there, he's defending, and he just manages to literally sweep it. But you see, he also gives him some room. He doesn't come quite across his nose. He kind of, just in case, because he knows on the outside, he knows he can't see him. But what a move from Westmoreland. And I'm not sure I've ever seen someone quite pull that off there. Normally the person on the inside lets the brakes off and beats them. But also, there you can see fastest lap of the race at 131.6. But, yeah, Bradley Ray has 4 wins out of 5 races now. It's a brilliant result for him, isn't it?
It's quite a streak that he's on. Westmoreland there gives a thumbs up to Bradley Ray. And do you know what? Also, Westmoreland, James, I might have to in giving Allingham space like that, he also allowed himself a terrific drive to the line. He was able to just, you know what I mean? It seemed to work for him to just carry that corner speed out.
Yeah, very much. And the other surprise there was, firstly, I mean, Mackenzie's done really well. He's got the championship lead back. But those early laps, I've never seen him ride like that.
No,
you know, so aggressive, really sideways, almost a bit out of control, but he kind of came through it, and you can see how much he wants it. You can see they've improved it, and yeah, what an interesting race that was for the weekend.
He's been watching too much of his bigger brother in the stock house. Bradley Ray wins it then. The British Supersport, the Dickies British Supersport sprint race at Donington Park from Taron Mackenzie, who fends off Mason Law. James Westmoreland skips round the outside of David Allingham to grab an astonishing 4th place right at the death of the race. Andrew Irwin, with sore ribs, finishes a superb 6th ahead of Luke Jones. Luke Hedger in 8th place. That's a good result for Luke as he gets acquainted with the Appleyard Macadam Yamaha, with Joe Collier 9th and Sam Coventry 10th. 11th for Freddie Pett on the Triumph. Jamie Perrin just lost out to him there in 12th place. Sam Wilford, Tommy Philp and Dean Harrison. Philp just ahead of Harrison across the line. Dean Harrison gets 15th place and the final point, having got the better of Ryan Dixon, who finishes 16th. The championship standings will make interesting reading. The Dickies British Supersport standing after 19 races with 5 left to go. We've got Taron Mackenzie on 271, 4 points ahead now of James Westmoreland, and 37 points ahead. I beg your pardon, the 37 points, is that to James Westmoreland, or is that to the... No, it's to the championship leader. Bradley Ray now just 37 points off the lead. The young man from Lyd keeps on winning. Mason Law, 4th in the championship on 193. Andy Reid still there in 5th place, but just 5 points ahead now of David Allingham after that excellent ride by Allingham. Luke Jones 7th. Ben Curry, who sadly crashed early, is 8th, ahead of Joe Francis, who also went out of that race. Andrew Owen 10th place ahead of Luke Hedger and Ross Twyman. Joe Collier just 5 points back in 13th, ahead of Perrin, Esmond and Trulove.
A combative Supersport sprint race, it's fair to say. And Mason Law got caught up in a couple of skirmishes early on, but you pace towards the end of the race.